There is nothing like a good book and a good cup of hot tea. Oh my God. The only thing that could make this possibly better is if it was raining outside. That's the only thing that can make this better. So let's talk about the importance of reading for self care. I know you're probably thinking, like, what does reading have to do with self care? Oh, so you haven't caught the theme to the self care yet. It's all about hormonal balance and reducing stress. Those two go hand in hand. So the better you are at reducing stress, the better you're going to be at balancing your hormones. And reading a good book is a part of that. So today, let's talk about your reading. Like, how often do you read? Think about that for a second. How often do you take time out? It could be weekly. For me, it's weekly because just during the week, there's so much going on. But there's nothing like a good book on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon as I'm falling asleep for a nap for the weekend. That's right. Y'all see this shirt? Don't, please don't ask me to do stuff. That's it. When I wear this t-shirt, it's a wrap. Don't ask me to do nothing because it's all about me, my hot tea, my book, and my nap. That's it. So, why is reading so important for us, ladies? Listen, you've got to learn how to slow this down. It's going 1,000 miles an hour for everybody else, for everything else. And you've got to learn how to slow it down. And there's nothing like a great cup of hot tea and a good book to do that for you. You're going for everybody else. And like they used to say, you going in hard. But I want you to learn how to go in hard for yourself. And slowing down and reading helps you to do just that. So when was the last time you read a good book? Whatever your choice is, fiction, nonfiction, romance, self-help, whatever your choice is, sci-fi, sis, doesn't matter. Learn how to slow down and read a good book. Now, my grandmother, who lived to be 93, was an avid reader. She loved mysteries. She loved to read, and it was so great to see her do it as I was growing up. She would often read, and she would often you see books lying around the house, and it was so fun to see that. And so as a result, my parents were both avid readers. They loved to read, my mom and my dad. And so we've just adopted just being able to read. My husband reads anything. My husband is a reader. As a matter of fact, his office, we just renovated the office a few months ago, and I took out a whole wall. I took out a whole wall of books. And I was like, honey, I just need you to give these away and start your library all over afresh. And we've done that. And so both of us love to read. And it just helps to keep you sharp and it's relaxing. So here are 3 benefits to reading, whether you do it every day or once a week or twice a week. I want you to get to the point to where you develop just a couple of hours sometime during the week to pour back into yourself. All right? So here are 3 benefits to reading. Benefit number 1, it stimulates your brain. Of course. Why wouldn't it? You're reading. The brain loves activity. Good activity, not activity that you're devoting to everybody else. Let me put it that way. So reading stimulates the brain. So when you're reading, it takes you away. Number 2, it reduces your stress. So if you're a reader like me, I love self-help. I love self-help. So thinking about myself as I'm reading the words in the page, seeing myself accomplish those things that I'm reading. I have a cousin that loves romance novels. She said it just takes her away from her everyday, day in and day out, mundane life, sometimes of having to be different places for different people. And so reading helps her to escape. And so that's why she loves romance novels. For some of you, it may be sci-fi. Now listen, I'm a sci-fi girl all day long. Star Trek, yes, honey. I am a Star Wars, yeah, Marvels. Give me those movies any day of the week. That's how I escape. But sometimes you need a good book to help reduce stress. And here's the third benefit of reading. It encourages lifelong learning. And so, like I was telling you with my grandmother, she was an avid reader. And it was amazing to see her read and watch her read. And my grandmother passed away when she was 93. Here's what's so amazing to me, and I'll share this with you. Um, when I was in high school, I failed the second semester of Algebra 2. And so I ended up graduating without a college prep diploma, but went on to college anyway. And after 2 years, got kicked out of college because I was partying too hard and having way too much fun in college. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, so here we go. When I was in high school, though, I had a school counselor tell me that I was not smart enough to go to college. Fast forward 2 years, get kicked out of college for partying too hard and having way too much fun, and ended up coming back home. That summer, nobody knew I had gotten kicked out of college. When I got home, my great-grandmother and my grandmother, my maternal great-grandmother and my maternal grandmother were quilting a quilt together. It's called the leaf quilt. My grandmother would go out in the yard and take leaves off the ground and trace leaves on a sheet of paper and come back in. And my great-grandmother would do the quilting as my grandmother was doing that. That summer, I learned just how important education was to the both of them. My great-grandmother grew up on an Indian reservation and was not allowed to learn how to read. Let me say that again. Was not allowed to go to school and learn how to read. Not allowed. My grandmother got as far as an 8th grade education, although she loved education, although she loved learning. Listening to both of them tell me their stories about wanting to have formal education, wanting to learn, but not given the opportunity to do it, that fueled me. And so even though I had gotten kicked out of college, I went back to college. And again, nobody knew I had gotten kicked out except the two of them. Hearing their story inspired me and motivated me to say that here are two women that I came from who wanted to have this formal education but could not. I owed it not only to myself to go do it, but I owed it to them. So I went back to college, finished 2 years at a local college, and then went on to Georgia State University and graduated from Georgia State. Fast forward, now you get to call me Dr. Tracy. But I said all of that to say that reading encourages lifelong learning. So as you continue to go through life, how do you want to learn? Books is an easy way to do that. And so reading helps us to slow down. It helps the brain, even though we're reading and the brain is processing the words on the page. I want you to notice how you feel as you drink your coffee or you drink your hot tea and you slow yourself down enough to savor the book that you're reading, to take in the words, the smell of the coffee or the hot tea, as it reduces your stress, yet it stimulates the brain. So ladies, here you go. The importance of reading, lifelong learning, reducing stress, and it stimulates the brain. If you don't do it for anybody else, do it for yourself. I do it for my Pearl and my grandmother because as I read, I remember their stories telling me how they weren't able to have a formal education and they wanted to. I think of them often as I'm wrapped up in a quilt when it's cold outside and I have the opportunity to slow down and really enjoy my hot tea and my book and really sit in that space because it's not just me that's doing it. It's me, my grandma, and my Ma Pearl. Who's with you as you take that time to pour into you? Reading is not just for you, it's for generations to come. How are you leaving your mark as you encourage your own lifelong learning? So, enjoy this day of self-care and remember to do it with a good book. Until tomorrow, it's another day of self-care and we'll see you tomorrow.